Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. If your GE dryer won't start, whether the control panel is completely dark, the start button isn't responding, or it's totally unresponsive, you're in the right place. I'll walk you through exactly how to diagnose and fix these issues. Most of these issues you can tackle yourself and save a ton of money on service calls. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so when your GE dryer won't start, it's usually one of six main culprits. We're going to work through these from the simplest to the more complex fixes, and I guarantee one of these is going to get your dryer running again. So the most obvious place to start, and trust me, this fixes way more problems than you'd think, is checking your power outlet. I can't tell you how many times I've been called out just to find the dryer wasn't getting proper power. Here's the thing about GE dryers, they need a full 240 volts to operate. That's double what most appliances use. If your control panel is completely dark and nothing's happening when you press the start button, we're probably looking at a power issue. What you want to do is try plugging the dryer into a different 240 volt outlet if you've got one. If it fires right up, boom, you found your problem. The original outlet's shot. If you don't have another outlet to test with, check your circuit breaker box. Look for tripped breakers. They'll be stuck in the middle position, not fully on or off. Turn off the main power first, then flip the breaker all the way off and back on. Wait 30 seconds before testing your dryer. Also take a look at that power cord. You can see me checking this one right here on the screen. Look for any burns, cuts, or damage. And here's something most people don't know. Never use an extension cord with a dryer. Those cords can't handle the voltage safely, and you're asking for trouble. If you need to replace the outlet, that's definitely electrician territory. Don't mess around with 240-volt wiring. Call a pro. Another common cause is a bad door switch. This little component prevents the dryer from running when the doors open. It's a safety feature. But when it goes bad, your dryer thinks the door's always open, even when it's latched tight. First thing to check, make sure that door's actually closing properly. Sometimes lint or debris gets caught in the door seal and the door can't latch completely. Give it a good cleaning and try closing it firmly. Now here's where it gets tricky. Even if the door looks closed and latched, that door switch might be telling the dryer it's still open. Here's a simple test. With the dryer unplugged, open the door and locate the small button or lever where the door latches. Press it firmly. You should hear a distinct click and feel it move. No click or movement means the switch has failed. To really confirm it, you'll need to test it with a multimeter for continuity. You can see me doing this right here. If there's no continuity, that switch needs to be replaced. Good news is these switches are usually pretty cheap, about 15 to 20 bucks. Way cheaper than calling someone like me out. And if your dryer's still under warranty, GE might cover the part for free. Worth checking with their customer support before you buy anything. If the control panel's lit up but nothing happens when you press the start button, you're probably dealing with a faulty start switch. This is probably 30% of the no start problems I see on GE dryers. Here's how to test it. Press that start button and listen carefully. You should hear a distinct clicking sound when you push it. If it's silent or the indicator light doesn't come on, that switch is toast. You can confirm this with a multimeter by testing the contacts on the center terminal of the start switch. No continuity means you need a new switch assembly. Before replacing the switch, check if control lock or delay start features are accidentally enabled. Look for a lock icon on the display or hold the control lock button for 3 seconds to disable it. These features can make it look like your dryer is completely dead when it's just locked out. So before you start tearing into the switch, make sure those features are disabled. Could save you a trip to the parts store. Here's where things get a bit more technical. The thermal fuse. This is a safety device that shuts down the whole dryer if it gets too hot. When this little guy blows, your dryer goes completely dead. No lights, no nothing. Now, thermal fuses don't just blow for no reason. Usually it's because your exhaust vent is clogged with lint and all that hot air can't escape properly. The dryer overheats and pop, there goes your fuse. You can find the thermal fuse on the blower housing or near the heating element depending on your model. You can see on the screen right now where it's typically located. It's going to look like a small rectangular component with two wires attached. Using a multimeter set to continuity mode, test across the two terminals. A working fuse will beep or show zero resistance. No beep or infinite resistance means it's blown. Important. Before replacing the fuse, you must identify and fix what caused it to blow. You got to fix the root cause, or you'll be replacing fuses every few months. Clean out that exhaust vent thoroughly. I'm talking about disconnecting the vent hose and checking the whole path from the dryer to outside your house. All that lint buildup is what caused the problem in the first place. Some GE dryers have what's called a belt switch. When the drive belt breaks or comes loose, this switch detects it and shuts down the whole system. Smart design, but it can be confusing when you're trying to figure out why your dryer won't start. Here's how you check this. You'll need to open up the dryer cabinet. First, unplug everything. Safety first, people. Then remove the front or top panel to get access to the drum. If that drive belt's broken or hanging loose, there's your problem. The belt goes around the drum and connects to the motor and idler pulley. When it breaks, the drum can't turn, so the dryer won't start a cycle. Replacing the belt isn't too complicated, but it does require getting inside the machine. You'll need to lift the drum slightly to get the new belt positioned correctly around the motor pulley and idler pulley. Now, here's something that'll throw you for a loop. Sometimes the belt's fine, but the belt switch itself is faulty. It thinks the belt's broken when it's actually okay. You can test the belt switch with a multimeter. If it's not showing continuity when the belt's in place, the switch needs replacing too. Once you've got everything back together, run a test cycle. Your dryer should start up and run smooth as butter. If your dryer's making a humming noise but won't actually start or run a cycle, you're probably looking at a bad drive motor. This is definitely the most complex repair we're going to talk about today. The drive motor does two jobs. It turns the drum and powers the blower wheel that moves air through the system. When it starts failing, you might hear it trying to work, but it can't actually get things moving. To test the motor, you'll need to get inside the dryer cabinet and locate the motor assembly. It's usually at the bottom of the machine. Use your multimeter to test for continuity across the motor terminals. Now, I gotta tell you, replacing a drive motor is not a beginner level repair. You're dealing with belt alignment, electrical connections, and some pretty tight spaces. If you're not comfortable with this level of work, this might be where you call someone like me. If you do tackle it yourself, make sure you get genuine GE parts. I've seen too many knockoff motors that fail within months. Yeah, they're cheaper up front, but you'll be doing this repair again way too soon. Also, when you're putting everything back together, make sure that belt tension is right. Too loose and it'll slip, too tight and you'll put extra strain on the motor and other components. Now, you can see the most affected models displayed on the screen right now. From what I've seen in the field, GE electric dryers seem to have the most starting issues, especially some of the newer models with all the electronic controls. These units shown here, they've got dual thermistors and fancy sensors, but all that technology means more things that can go wrong. I've worked on plenty of these where a simple door switch or start switch failure leaves the whole machine dead. The GE gas dryers up there are usually pretty reliable, but when they do have problems, it's often the same culprits we've talked about today. Drive belts, thermal fuses, that sort of thing. And those stacked GE unitized spacemaker units, man, those things can be tricky to work on because of the tight spaces, but the actual problems are usually the same basic components we've covered. You now have a complete troubleshooting plan for GE dryers that won't start. Work through these 6 fixes in order. Check the power outlet, test the door switch, verify the start switch, examine the thermal fuse, inspect the drive belt, and finally test the drive motor. In my experience, 80% of no start issues are solved within the first 3 steps. Remember, if you're not comfortable doing any of these repairs, especially the motor replacement, don't be a hero. Call a professional. But for most of these fixes, you can definitely save yourself some money and get that dryer running again. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your GE dryer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.